So, welcome to yet another episode of Don't Works Too Much, and maybe you've got popcorn on your ceiling and you're tired of eating it because it's gotten stale. Don't worry. What you do is you get one of these pump sprayers and you fill it up with, what do you think you filled up with, Kathy?
Acid.
Very close. Acid and what else?
Water.
Unicorn horns, 47 pumps, protein powder, and a lot of good intentions. So, you put that up there and let it sit for a second, and then what? Oh, I'll show you. Come on in here so that we can all see what's going on and you don't get stuff on your head.
I gotta get it on me if I come in there?
Oh, good point. Never mind.
I got some places to go.
And then you peel it off.
Oh gosh.
Isn't that magical? And so satisfying. So.
That is, oh, I really want to do that.
You can, in just a second. So, if nobody else has encouraged you guys to stress out about nothing today, let me be the first. Let me just encourage you to stress out about nothing, because it's so very important. Now, another thing that I want to tell you is I invent a lot of things. I'm sure you guys know this. And the next thing I want to invent, and I was inspired by a 7-year-old girl, is a fire truck. And I know you guys are going to argue, they already have fire trucks. Think it through. What do fire trucks deliver? Water. I will deliver fire. It's a fire truck. Alright, see you soon. Oh, we're also going to lay tile in here. It's going to be in paint. It's going to be beautiful. So, here I am again in Dexter's kill room. And as you can clearly tell, it's all taped off. Now, up there, I scraped all the acoustic off. Tonight I'm alone because, let's be honest, I spend most of my life alone. Alright, so one of you guys said that your ceiling is 17 feet tall, so it's harder to reach. And my answer is leg extensions. It's simple. I like to call them ladders, but a lot of people call them leg extensions. Anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this blower and the end of my air compressor, take that mud right there, and then I'm going to splatter it all over the place, but I can't hold it and do that at the same time because I'm just not that smart. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Do I have any nonsense to talk about? Let me think. Oh, how does a ballerina like to travel? A tutu train. Oh, hey there. So today we are going to paint this room, but because it's got wood paneling on it, then we had to sand it first. And so obviously to sand it, we have to get sandpaper, and then we just, and it's wonderful. Now to get the sandpaper, we really enjoy that part because we go to the beach and hang out, and we just chill for a couple days, and then we get a little bit of sand, and then we sprinkle it across some glue on some paper, and then that works. So in my life, I've known a lot of people named Junior, but I've never met one person named Senior, and I'm like, I don't know if this is real. Jane, do you ever feel like that? Not so much, yeah. What about this? When you walk into a public bathroom, are you like, what's up, potty people?
No.
You don't do that?
No.
Yeah, me neither. I'll tell you what I did do a long time. I went in, and wherever there's a bunch of urinals, right, I'd make sure there was somebody I knew somewhere in the bathroom, but then somebody I didn't know. And I'd walk up and be like, sorry man, I can't go unless we hold hands. And then I'd like stick my hand out, and this dude's like, ugh. Every once in a while they'd actually hold my hand. I'm like, well, this is weird. Anyway. Oh, hey there. Me, just sitting here by the pool. This is usually what I do during the day, waiting for paint to dry. It's really fun if you like waiting for paint to dry. So James and I were just talking about history and how some history is exciting and some history is less exciting. Some of it's terrifying. But what if we had just a history channel that was like boring history? I mean, technically it's history, but it's like today these people just sat around. You're like, and then what? That's it. You just watch that for an hour. And then coming up next on boring history channel is like, and then what happened? Then these guys mowed their lawn. You're like, and they weed whacked and edged and stuff. You're like, anything else? Like, nope, that's it. And next hour on the boring history channel, somebody cooked dinner. You're like, this sucks. This is not interesting at all. All right, so I do want to tell you, I met this girl and she had a taser. She was stunning. Seriously, she was stunning. I was like, ah! I didn't mean to startle her. Anyway, here's some real history that's actually kind of interesting. I was doing a show in, I think, Milwaukee. I honestly don't remember where it was, about 15 years ago. And everybody on the crew was like, hey, there's this secret bar that nobody really knows about, and you have to have a password to get in. And I'm like, I don't care that much. And they're like, we're all gonna go. So we all tracked it down, and somebody found the password or whatever. It's some back alley, there's no sign out front, nothing. We get into this thing, it's very, very small. There's just a guy like with a podium, and he looks at us like, you know the password? And so somebody's about to say, he goes, huh, not out loud, come over here. And he whispers in his ear, he goes, no, that's not it. And we're like, what? We thought that was it. Like 3 people told us that was what it was. He goes, no, that's not the password, sorry. And so we're like, well, how do we get in? And he's like, how do you get in? I was like, what if I could do the splits? And he goes, I don't know, try it. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I can do the splits, so let's just take a look. You know, I was like this, and then the dude's like, all right, I'll let you in. So he lets me in. And he opens up the door, and then there's a whole bar in there. And as soon as they open up the door, me and my whole crowd walks in, and everybody starts clapping. And I'm like, why are they clapping for us? Well, you know why they were clapping for us? Because there's hidden cameras in that room that we went into, and everybody's in on it. There's TVs all over this bar that like show whatever the idiot's doing to get inside the bar in the first place. And so everybody's in on it, and they're all just laughing like, ah, you just did the splits. I'm like, I did just do the splits. Thank you very much. I'm sure other people do other stupid things, but sometimes you feel like, you know what, I'm not being watched, but sometimes you are. So think about that while you're watching the Boring History Channel. So as you can clearly tell, we painted, then we waited for paint to dry, then we painted again, then we waited for paint to dry, then we told you stories, then we painted again after we waited. So then we cleaned up the floor, and now we're gonna lay tile, and the tile looks like this stuff, right? And so we do so much subway looking tile, so that's, you know, like, it looks like a random pattern, but it's not, that we hardly ever have to chalk lines anymore. But for this one, we're chalk lines, so I figured I'd tell you how it works. So what we want to do is we want to get full tiles in as many places as possible. In this case, this is the longest, straightest wall, so we're going to have full tiles here, and then we're going to have full tiles on this one. We have to start from the center, and we have to start in the closet, because I can't, once I'm in there, I have to work my way out, right? So with chalk lines, you can kind of see what we've got in here, and this is how this works, right? So then what happens, in case you guys have not seen this, is you take your mortar and you mix that up, and then it's really exciting. James, you have anything on your heart you want to talk about?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay, what about this? You think that instead of gossiping about people, we talk good about them behind their back?
Like who?
Everybody in general. We talk, make that a rule for your life.
I mean, usually if they're talking shit behind your back, just talk shit behind their back.
Right, but wouldn't it be better to be like, hey man, I was...
If everybody does that, yes, but not everybody's gonna do that.
But what about you? What do you want to do?
Huh?
You want to talk good behind people's back or not? No?
You don't piss me off, that's fine.
Alright, well, I want to talk good about people behind their back because I want people to talk good about me behind my back. I realize they don't. I'm okay with it. Alright, so you see we left the line here, and then, as I suspected, this one's going to need to be cut. So we got to mark this and cut it, but basically just put it in place, and that's pretty simple. So we're going to mark that. I don't have my Sharpie on me right now, but that's how you lay tile. And then we're going to get this done real quick because that's how we operate. All right, see you guys soon. So I'm at this house, right? And I'm like, I'll just knock on the front door. And then there's this sign. I guess I won't be knocking on the front door because, you know, science. By the way, what's orange and looks good on a hippie? Fire. Oh, hey there. So sometimes I can just look at somebody and tell, you're judgmental. Like I can just look at them and tell, you're judgmental. Does that sound like I'm judging? Wait a minute. Oh, darn it. I think, you know what, I'm the one being judgy. All right, so we lay this tile. Come on over. Don't step on it. We laid out this tile. We got all the paint done. Tomorrow we'll come back and go out, touch things up, and so on and so forth. So it'll be truly amazing. And I'm so very excited. Now, I know that I've got different people from different walks of life that watch these wonderful videos, And I just want to say that if you're an astronaut, and if you're thinking about breaking up with your significant other, and you don't say, look, I need space, you're really robbing all of us. So please use that line and film yourself doing it. Okay, thanks. Hey, so maybe you are thinking to yourself, I wonder what John's up to today? Well, I got all this done. James did all the hard work. I did not too much. So we laid all this tile, got all the grout done, got everything painted. Remember this was all stained wood yesterday? We put a new fan in. This fan is pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on for you so you can see it. Watch this. Got a remote. No fan blades, you can't hardly, I mean, you can't get hurt, right? And then the light is pretty rock and roll too. Anyway, that's pretty neat. Got the desk in and out. The door did stick, doesn't anymore, we fixed that. And then we got all that done. So, yeah, pretty amazing. Now, what do you want to talk about, James?
Going home?
Going home. Okay, so to get home in the big scheme of things, not just right now, let's talk about the difference between potential and actually doing something. Okay, so when we started this job, we had the potential to get it done. Now, I firmly believe that we were going to do it. I had the faith to know that we were going to get this done because I don't stop till we're done, right? Some people don't. Some people look and they go, I got potential, the end, that's good enough. It's not good enough, okay? So let me give you a couple examples. Number 8, I heard a song once and this guy says, right now, you've got $1 million worth of talent. By the time I'm done with you, you'll have $1 million. Do you see the difference? We had potential to have a cool room, we made it a cool room. You have potential to have $1 million, you made $1 million. Now, what about a story in the Bible? James, you got anything? The story of the talents, very good. So, in this story, Jesus says that there are 3 men, and their master comes to them and says, I'm going to give you each a different amount, a different set of talents, and then you need to do something with this because you work for me, right? And they're like, got it. So he leaves and he is gone for a very long time, it says. And he gives one talent, and one 2 talents, and one 5 talents. Now, so anyway, then he comes back, okay, after a very long time, and says, time to settle up. Let's see what you did with what I gave you. And to the one that had 5 talents, he said, what'd you do with the talents I gave you? And he goes, Lord, behold, I took the 5 talents that you gave me, and I was diligent with it, and I got you 5 more. And he said, well done, good and faithful servant. Now I'm going to make, you've done well small things, now I'm going to make you in charge of 10 cities. So then the next servant comes up and he says, you gave me 2 talents, and behold, I got you 2 more. And he said, well done, good and faithful servant. Because you've done well with small things, I'm now you'll do well with big things as well. I'm making you in charge of 4 cities. And then the guy with 1 talent, he came to him and said, let's settle up. And he goes, I knew that you were a hard man. I knew that you were a tough businessman. And so I didn't want to lose your money. He's like, all right. So I took it and I buried it. And here's your money back. And he said, you wicked, evil servant, why didn't you at least put it in the bank and get me interest? I didn't give you this just so you could throw it away. I didn't want you to give it to me and give it right back. I wanted you to do something with it, right? So he was thrown out. First of all, the talent that he had was given to the man who had 10. And then he was thrown out to where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, which traditionally means he went to hell, okay? Now, I want to just interject here and say, when we think of talents, we think of like, hey, I've got a talent to play the guitar, I've got a talent to, I don't know, do construction or whatever. But a talent in those days was between 75 and 100 pounds of gold, okay? So I looked it up this morning because, you know, I'm cool like that. And it was between $1.5 million to $2 million roughly per talent. So he gave this one guy $10 million, and another guy $4 million, and another guy $2 million. That's not a small amount. We're not talking about like, oh, here's 10 bucks, you know, see when I get back. This is like, I want you to do something with this. So whenever he comes back, he rewards the people that did something, not the people that have potential to do something. They all have potential. They all had a different amount. He didn't judge the man with the 1 on, you didn't get me 10. He just said, what did you do with what I gave you, right? It's different for everybody. But the important thing to note here is that the one that went to hell didn't go to hell for being Hitler. He didn't go to hell for mass murdering people, for molesting children. No bad thing. He went to hell for doing nothing with what God gave him. So think about that. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.